FPL Double24 team selection. What is up everyone, how's it going? FPL Era here and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Another green arrow in Game Week 23 and we're set up nicely ahead of the double game week this week. I have already locked in my 3 free transfers this week to get ahead of the price changes, and at the time of this recording the Champions League games are on their way, so fingers crossed there's no injuries in those games for my team that'll force me into taking a hit. Mo Salah was also left out of the Liverpool squad to face PSV last night, so we'll have the triple captaincy available and we're in line to use it this week. In today's video I'm going to show you how I fared out in Game Week 23, and we're also going to look at my transfer plans and team selection ahead of the double game week this week. We've lots to discuss, let's get into the video. So before we get into today's video, quick reminder as always to give the video a like. Let's hit a like goal of 70 likes on this video, so head on down there, drop the video a like, and if you are watching this and you're not subscribed, you know what to do, head on down there, click subscribe and support the channel. So let's take a quick look back to Game Week 23, 65 points of the week, and with 6 out of my 11 players all returning, it wasn't a bad return for the week. We'll start off with that Newcastle game away to Southampton. Alexander Isak was back in form with 2 well taken goals, and I was glad to see Anthony Gordon pick up an assist late on in the second half. Apologies to Lewis Hall owners, but with no Newcastle defence in my team, I was glad to see Jan Medrak wipe out that Newcastle clean sheet. Moving on to Molyneux with no clean sheet for Arsenal in their last 4 games. I was in bad need of an Arsenal double offensive clean sheet, but just before half time, Skelly was sent off for a rash tackle when Wolves were on the counter from an Arsenal corner, so the clean sheet wasn't looking likely, but thankfully Wolves went down to 10 men themselves in the second half and pretty much locked in that Arsenal clean sheet, and Raya came away with 2 bonus points along with Gabriel picking up 1 bonus point for a combined much needed 16 points from my Arsenal double defence. After 2 blanks in his last 2 game weeks, I kept the captaincy on Mo Salah and he grabbed himself a goal at home to Ipswich for a 16-point return from the armband, but the star of this game was Cody Gakpo coming away with 2 goals and an assist for a monster 16-pointer. I was trying to get Cody Gakpo into the team last week, but I couldn't get to him without using 2 transfers, so I missed out on that monster haul, but fair play if he brought him in and got ahead of the curve before the double game week. Trent Alexander-Arnold also grabbed himself an assist in this game, but his clean sheet was wiped out in the 90th minute for a nothing goal from Greaves, which was disappointing to see here. Anthony Robinson's clean sheet was wiped out by a freak Martinez goal and a badly needed a differential return from Bruno, but he wasn't able to get amongst the returns on Monday night. Palmer, Chris Wood and João Pedro were all kept quiet in their respective games, but 65 points wasn't a bad score at all. I got that all-important green arrow, albeit a small one, and I've now moved from 76k to 71k overall, but we are in a very good position ahead of the double game week. With the Game Week 23 review out of the way, let's move on now and start planning ahead for this week's double game week. So looking ahead to the double game week this week, we're going to start off with the triple captaincy chip debate. If you have a triple captaincy available, should you be using it on Mo Salah this week, or should you be saving for a double later on the season? Well, the short answer I'm going to give you is yes, get that triple captaincy locked in on Mo. They're not the most attractive fixtures for Liverpool across the double game week. 2 away fixtures, the first away to a Bournemouth side who are very much in form at the moment, and then the second game away to Everton in what's going to be the last Merseyside derby at Goodison. What do I expect from returns from Mo Salah over the double game week? Well, with a full rest from Mo Salah in the Champions League, with him being left out of that squad to face PSV last night, I'm expecting at least 2 returns over the double game week. Maybe the Bournemouth game and the Everton game, the fact that they are away might stop his monster haul, but I'm expecting at least 2 returns, and that should see us a double-digit return, and that's why I'm locking it in on Mo this week. Double Game Week 24 also sees the start of the Assistant Manager chip becoming available to FPL managers this week. So if you have already used your triple captaincy chip earlier on the season, it then raises the question whether or not you should be activating your Assistant Manager chip this week. Well, first off, if you have 1.5 million spare in your bank, I can't see any reason why you shouldn't bring in Slot into your team this week. A double game week followed by a Wolves fixture at home for Liverpool, and then you can move him on to Arteta when Arteta faces West Ham at home in Game Week 26. So back to Slot then over the double game week. Don't forget it's 6 points for a win, an extra point for a clean sheet, and an extra point per goal scored. Bournemouth away and Everton away, you'd expect 2 wins there as I said, and you'd expect a couple of goals for Liverpool there, so surely you should be seeing 16 points minimum over that double game week. And then on to Game Week 25, Wolves at home. Surely another couple of goals for Liverpool in that game. Let's say 6, 7, 8, 9 points in that game. And then move on to Arteta in Game Week 26. You'd surely expect Arteta to pick up 6 points with a win against West Ham at home. And that should see another couple of more goals for Arsenal. So another 9 points there in that game. So let's go over those gamings. If you do have that 1.5 million spare in your bank, let's say Slot gets 16 points minimum over the double game week, 8 points minimum at home to Wolves, and then Arteta gets 8 points minimum at home to West Ham in Game Week 26. That's a minimum of 32 points, all things going well over the next 3 weeks. I can't see any reason why you shouldn't bring him in and activate that System Manager chip. So looking ahead to the double game week this week and looking at my transfer plans ahead of the double game week, as I said earlier on in the video, I have locked in my 3 free transfers already, and starting off here, I've taken out Raya and brought in Jordan Pickford with Everton having the double game week this week. Ahead of the Arsenal Champions League game last night, Mikel Arteta said Raya wasn't fit to play, so probably got lucky taking out Raya before he even knew this and brought in Pickford. But the main reason I did take out Raya was the fact he's got Man City this week, and I'm not expecting a clean sheet from Arsenal in that game. Looking at Pickford then, his first fixture of the double game week is up against Leicester at home. I am expecting a clean sheet for Everton in this game, and then looking to the second game of the double game week against Liverpool. I'm not expecting a clean sheet in this game against Liverpool, but I am expecting a few save points from Pickford in this game. So fingers crossed, if he does pick up a clean sheet against Leicester in the first game, picks up a few save points against Liverpool in the second game, that should be a double-digit return for Pickford across the double game week. Another main reason why I brought Pickford in this week was the fact of the security of having a fixture in the blank game week 29. Pickford will be up against West Ham at home, which is a decent fixture to be fair. With Raya, I know Arsenal are trained to Newcastle in their EFL Cup tie, but if Arsenal do turn things around and win that tie, they'll have a blank in game week 29, and that's why I brought in Pickford, just for the security of a fixture that week. Moving on to my second free transfer, with the news João Pedro was predicted to fall in price on Tuesday night, and with the fact I wanted to bring in Cody Gakpo ahead of the double game week this week, I acted fast, I made an early transfer and took out João Pedro and brought in Gakpo. João Pedro did fall in price on Wednesday morning, and with the fact that Cody Gakpo still had to play that Champions League game last night, it was a small risk bringing him in earlier than anticipated, and he was named in the starting 11 last night. He did pick up a goal from the spot, and thankfully he was taken off after 52 minutes, so he's safe and sound for the double game week, and fingers crossed we do get a few returns from him over the 2 games. And then moving on to my third and final free transfer of the game week, watching that Man United and Fulham game on Monday night. Bruno is playing very deep in that game, which is fair from ideal. He's definitely not playing up to his price tag, and at the time of this recording, he's expected to fall in price tonight. So I took out Bruno in order to fund that Gakpo move in for João Pedro, and I've brought in Kluivert from Bournemouth. Kluivert's very much a man in form at the moment. 2 double-digit returns in his last 2 game weeks. Fair enough, he does at Liverpool in double game week 24. I'm not expecting a return from him in this game, but after the Liverpool game, he faces Wolves and Southampton in game week 25 and game week 26, so we'll be expecting a few returns over these games. That being said, if I did have enough money in the bank to move for Mbeumo, I would have prioritised moving for Mbeumo this week. However, I could only afford Kluivert, and that's why I've gone Kluivert this week over Mbeumo. I can look to bring in Mbeumo ahead of the game week 25 deadline. So looking at my team ahead of the double game week, we're starting off in goals, and we've a new keeper between the sticks. We've taken out Raya and brought in Pickford ahead of that double game week. Who doesn't love a double game week, even if we are relying on an Everton clean sheet at least in one of the games. So he's got 2 home fixtures up against Leicester and Liverpool. I am confident of a clean sheet in that Leicester game, and if he picks up a few save points in that Liverpool game, we should see a double-digit return from the England number 1. Moving on to the back 3 then, we've got Gabriel at home to Man City. As I said, I have got rid of Raya, so I'm not expecting a clean sheet for Man City in that game. But with Gabriel, there's always a chance he can come away with an attacking return like he did earlier on the season. I do have one change to the back 3 this week, with Davies subbing in for Anthony Robinson with Fulham away to Newcastle this week. Davies is up against Southampton at home, which is a very favourable fixture, especially with Dibbling still out injured for Southampton. I know Ipswich have only kept 2 clean sheets all season, but I do have fond memories of playing Davies at home to Leicester in game week 10 when he came away with a double-digit return when he scored a peach of a volley. So if he wouldn't mind doing the same thing this week, I wouldn't say no to that. Trent Alexander-Arnold completes my back 3, and of course he has that double game week this week. I'm expecting at least 1 clean sheet and at least 1 attacking return over the 2 games this week, so fingers crossed for a double-digit return from Trent in defence. Moving on to the midfield, we'll start off with Mo Salah, and the triple captaincy chip is active with that double game week for Liverpool. I'm expecting at least 2 returns from Mo Salah over the 2 games, so at minimum a double-digit return. Fingers crossed we can beat that Erling Haaland 17-pointer against Ipswich earlier on the season, and let's see how it plays out. Moving on to the rest of midfield, Palmer, Kluivert and Anthony Gordon all have home fixtures this week. Starting off with Kluivert, as I said earlier, I'm not expecting any returns in that Liverpool game. Kluivert is just in the team on the basis he plays Southampton and Wolves in game week 25 and 26, and that's where I'm expecting the returns to come from. On to Anthony Gordon then, he's at home against Fulham. I am expecting a return from Gordon in this game. Looking ahead to game week 25, Gordon might have to make way to bring Mbeumo into the team, so fingers crossed Anthony Gordon can come away with a nice return as a farewell gift. Cole Palmer was very quiet against Man City in game week 23, but he is up against a leaky West Ham defence in game week 24, so I'm predicting him to be back amongst the returns and help Chelsea on their way to 3 points. Chris Wood, Cody Gakpo and Alexander Isak complete my starting 11 ahead of the double game week this week, and we'll start off with Chris Wood. I'll be expecting him and Nottingham Forest to be back in form after that shock hammering against Bournemouth last week. On to Cody Gakpo then. We've already spoken about him ahead of the double game week. I was relieved to see him play 52 minutes in the Champions League last night, so he should be in line to start that Bournemouth game this weekend and should be safe to start that Everton game also. Maybe around 60 minutes in each game, 60 to 70 minutes, 140, 130 minutes over the double game week. That should be enough for some returns for Gakpo over the 2 games. Finishing off with Alexander Isak. He was back in form against Southampton last week, picking up 2 goals, and I'm expecting to be back on the score sheet in that Fulham game at home this week. Fingers crossed himself and Gordon can link up and get some points from my FPL team. So that's my team pretty much locked in for the double game week. I've got 4 double game week players, 1 from Everton and 3 from Liverpool, and I'm fairly content with that. Do let us know in the comments below how many Liverpool and Everton players you're looking to bring in ahead of the double game week this week. If you've made it to the end of this video, please give it a like, drop a comment below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's hit a like goal of 70 likes on this video, so head on down there, drop the video a like, and if you are watching this and you're not subscribed, what are you at? Head on down there, click subscribe and support the channel. I'll see you all on Saturday afternoon for a double game week 24 deadline stream where I'll be fully locking in my team. Thanks for watching, best of luck for the double game week. I'll see you in the next video.